Mystery Steam Reviews is the part of the PC Gaming Weekspot where I, Colin Ahern, and he, Matthew Castle, test the knowledge of one another with Steam reviews that are a mystery. And the rules are as follows. Both I and Matthew bring 3 Steam reviews to the MSR arena, but we omit the name of the game associated with each review. Our opponents must correctly guess the game attached to each review. 1 correct answer equals 1 point. While both of us have 90 seconds on each Mystery Steam review, we also both have help in the form of 3 lifelines. These lifelines can be used at any stage during battle and also pause in the 90-second timer. Each lifeline, however, can only be used once and once only. And they are as follows. Question, where the hot seat haver gets to ask a yes or no question. Second opinion, where a second review is given to the warm chair sitter. And genre, where the genre of the game is revealed to the one with the warm arse. And indeed, it's getting hot in here because this week's Mystery Steam Reviews, the theme of it, you chose it, lovely viewers and listeners. The theme is games on Metacritic that have a score of 90 or above. So the well, not totally opposite, but like quite the opposite to what we did a couple of weeks ago when we did 60 and lower. So yeah,
it's quite a limited pool of games.
Yeah, I thought there would be more when I was looking.
Like 50 or something.
So you know,
have you remembered them all? That's the question.
Yeah. We will find out.
Because there were so few, I thought, like, you know, any of them were doable, really. So maybe I've gone relatively obscure. Who knows?
Matthew, let's see how obscure I've gone. Here is your very first this week Mystery Steam Review. Imagine Assassin's Creed with Assassin's Creed combat, but with a protagonist's name, skin, and worse story. And instead of a big, beautiful city, you have a small island with some buildings and long corridors. The sequel is much better. And that's from Ricardo. Ricardo doesn't recommend it. And Ricardo played it for 10.3 hours. Matthew, your time starts now.
Interesting. Imagine Assassin's Creed with Assassin's Creed combat. So, well, it's not Assassin's Creed. How much we can say. So it's a game. It's a third-person stealth or action game with the protagonist, with a character's skin and worse story. It's not a big city. You have a small island with some buildings, right? So open worldy, but not open world enough. But still good. Interesting picking a negative review of a game with the meta score of 90 or above. That has thrown me. Because now I'm thinking of bad games, but it's not. These are widely held to be good games.
Critically acclaimed, yeah.
Yeah, critically acclaimed. This could be Batman Arkham City. I think because an island, like you play in a bit of Gotham City, it's open world, but it's not a huge open world. The sequel is more open world. A bit unfair to say Batman has Assassin's Creed combat, but we could be dealing with an idiot. I don't really have a better suggestion, so I'm going to say Batman Arkham City.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
So, didn't opt to use any of your lifelines, kind of broke it down. This person said it's like Assassin's Creed, but bad essentially. You're not in a big city, you're on a small island with corridors.
The corridors bit is also a bit, I don't really know how that's Batman, but maybe it isn't.
You have ended up on, and it said as well, the sequel was better. You've ended up on Batman Arkham City. And Matthew, I can tell you that the correct answer is Batman Arkham Asylum.
Oh, wait. Is that a small island?
That's on an island, yeah. Arkham
Is
City.
Is it an island?
Arkham
I
City's
thought
on
it was a peninsula.
Matthew, could I have my first Mystery Steam review, please?
You'll make China look like a nature reserve compared to the smog you'll be belching out. 10 out of 10 would destroy the planet again, says Death. They recommend this with 39 hours on record, but only 18.5 at the time of review.
Interesting. Time starts now. You make China look like a nature preserve compared to the smog you'll be belching out. So, okay then. That means city builder, construction. So hang on. What games, when I was looking up games to choose for Mystery Steam reviews, what games did I see? City builder or some kind of thing like that. Smog. I mean, I don't know. See, like a City Skylines or a Sim City or a... Oh. Ooh. I remember seeing Factorio. Factorio. That would be one of them, isn't it? You've all the conveyor... I don't know much about it, but I know you've a lot of conveyor belts and stuff like that. See, I'm afraid now, if I use my second opinion, I could be going too deep and wasting a second opinion when I'm going to be wrong on this anyway. So I think I'm going to take a punt and I'm going to say Factorio.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer, Chris.
So, you heard the word smog and you thought city builder. You didn't think of, say, the pollution from a car. Were you right to make that link? The correct answer is Factorio.
Yes!
Oh, good.
Thank you very much.
Very well thought out.
Matthew, your second Mystery Steam review is as follows. Now, this is a big one, so I will allow you to soak
Not another negative review.
I will allow you to soak it in, okay? So, this game is the most overrated game ever. The gameplay is very shallow and it feels like a slog. The gunplay is average at best, and the powers you get are very underwhelming. The story is nonsense, and you can tell the writers were trying to do something deep. The companion character, they used their name, the companion character is annoying, ripped straight out of a Disney cartoon. Is the game bad? No, but it is very mediocre. And that's from Jay Cray, who isn't cray about this game, not recommended, 10.1 hours on record. Now, I'm going to give you, before I start the timer, because it's very big, do you feel like you've taken in everything?
I feel like I've absorbed that, yeah.
Okay, alright, so I'm going to start the timer now.
I mean, this pushes me in lots of different directions. Can I just get the genre straight off the bat?
You can indeed. So I'm going to pause the timer at 1:22 as Matthew uses his genre lifeline. So the genre of this game is... As I scroll down, where is it? The genre of this video game is a first-person shooter video game.
So,
a first-person shooter video game. I'm going to restart the timer now.
well, that's not very helpful because of most of the games that are 90s on Metacritic on PC are first-person shooters, I'd say. That is like the connective tissue. The companion thing's driving me nuts because I was thinking I'm going down the Half-Life route. I wouldn't describe any of, I wouldn't say you've got a companion through any of them enough that it's like you wouldn't describe Alex as a Disney cartoon. I'm gonna have to get my second opinion on this one.
Okay, we're gonna pause the timer at 50 seconds.
I am stumped.
As Matthew uses his second opinion. So the second opinion of this video game. Absolutely magnificent. Has taken the title for my favorite game of all time. less horror-ish and more story-focused than the other 2 titles in the series. If you're even considering getting it, stop. Just get it. There isn't a chance in hell you'll regret it. Less horror-ish and more story-focused than the other 2 titles in the series. Restarting the timer now.
There's like all the Half-Life games are 90s, basically. When this review was written, could be like Half-Life. I wouldn't say they're horror-ish. Half-Life horror-ish shooters. But with an annoying sidekick, it's not Doom. Horror-ish first-person shooters. Oh my god, I'm going to kick myself. I know I'm going to kick myself. No, it's not Deus Ex. No, it hasn't got Disney-like companions. Like the other 2 parts of the series. Maybe it's talking about Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 2 Episode 1. Half-Life 2 Episode 2.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's my final answer. I don't think it's right.
So, a big review? You took everything in?
Powers, none of it, I don't know.
And...
that review was stuffed. It was so stuffed, it tore my mind asunder.
Try to think about the companion. The companion led you to Alex from Half-Life. But then you were going, but she's not Disney? Really?
Unless you're an idiot, which you might be.
The second opinion then spoke about how this was less horror-ish than the previous 2 games in the series. You were thinking maybe they're kind of splitting Half-Life 2, Half-Life Episode 1, blah, blah. Matthew, I can tell you that the correct answer is Bioshock Infinite.
Oh. I'm actually amazed they got a 90 on Metacritic.
Did you not? Yeah, I actually have the score.
I like it, but I thought everyone was down on it.
It got a 94 was what it got on Metacritic.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Mm. Oh, that's a bit unfair on Elizabeth calling her. I guess she's a little bit Disney princess.
Disney princess. Kind of like, yeah.
Fair enough. In hindsight, both those reviews are fair. I put my hands up. They weren't written by idiots for once.
Matthew, could I have my second Mystery Steam review, please?
The first game, R, is a slog in comparison to the later expansion, but it's really enjoyable in setting up the story in an in-depth manner. The wider story is incredible, with the amount of times I cried during third expansion alone being well into the double digits. This is from Me Mum Is Cooler. They recommend it, with 1,389.8 hours on record, but only a paltry 1,351.7 at the time of review.
Okay, time starts now.
I'll say R is initials.
Oh, okay. I thought it was I was going like Sea of Thieves.
No, it's initials.
Oh. The first game, ARR. Oh, that's completely thrown me now if it's initials. Really enjoyable in setting up the story in an in-depth manner. Oh, right. Because I was ready to dive into like Assassin's Creed and Black Flag and whatever else. Look. Oh, I don't know what's happening now. Right, well, let's pause the timer. 55 seconds. Matthew, could I have my second opinion, please?
The game is beautiful. The story is great. You'll definitely get lost in it. Brings me back to my old 11 days.
Okay. Restarting the timer now. Didn't help me one bit. 11. I don't know what that means. 11 what? Is 11 written in Roman numerals? Is this like first 11? Football?
Oh, I've written it as the word 11, but I think it was just 11-1-1.
My old 11 days. Oh, I have no fucking clue what this is. ARR. I'm just gonna have to try and pick a game that I remember seeing, like Age of Empires 2 or something. Age of Empires 2.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
So you were thrown by the R? You thought it was a pirate? It's not. It's the initials of a game. This is a game with expansions that brings one player back to their 11 days. If you'd used your genre, I would have told you this is an MMO.
World of Warcraft?
An MMO where there has been an 11th game in the series. This is
Final Fantasy 14? I don't know.
Final Fantasy 14.
Brings me back to my 11 days.
Final Fantasy 11 was also an MMO.
Okay. So brings me back to playing Final Fantasy 11.
I thought was that unfair?
I hadn't a fucking clue what's ARR?
A Realm Reborn, which is like the initial release of it.
Right.
Maybe
Okay.
that one's a bit of a fuck. I don't know.
Who knows anymore? Mystery Steam reviews.
I must admit
it's
that
hard
was
to tell.
slightly designed for you to. I was hoping you were going to ask for the genre.
Okay. Rather than the
Because I thought
second
that might
opinion.
then like put you in the genre space. Was the little narrative I built around like when I'm picking these, I often think, oh, if you know,
I'm the same. Yeah.
that clue will unlock it, or that genre will really unlock this one.
When he uses this second opinion, he sure is going to get it, and then he never
Also,
does.
the fact that they played for like over 1,000 hours, I thought might put you in MMO territory.
Matthew, here is your third and final Mystery Steam review. Worst fucking game I have ever played in my entire life. It is so slow. Nothing happens. The controls are horrible. And it's not even co-op. And that's from Wobans. It's not recommended. 0.2 hours on record. And your time starts now.
One, and I don't mean this to be salty, but the way that you've picked negative reviews of famously popular games is really quite mean. I didn't do that. Anyway, this review is so vague. In their opinion, it's slow. In their opinion, nothing happens. They don't like the controls, whatever they may be. The only solid fact we have about this game is that it doesn't have co-op, which means it could be anything. So I've got to ask a question.
Okay,
My question is...
pause the timer, 55 seconds, yes.
Is this a first-person shooter?
No. And I will add, because I didn't... it's only when looking back at the review now, I'm like, that is a little bit vague. The controls in this game are quite unique. I will say, and them saying that the controls are bad or whatever it was, and it's not even co-op, are related. I'll say that. So I'm going to restart the timer 55 seconds now.
Well, that's very decent of you. That makes me think it's a game where you control two people as one person, which makes me think someone would be like, oh. I mean, that makes me think Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, but then I don't remember that being on the list. It is, people do like it, but I don't know if it was 90 strength. It's not even co-op. I mean, that would describe... I mean, that, from what you said, that feels like the kind of vibe they're going for. I mean, it's also like two characters on two sticks. It's not rocket science. So, but hey, never underestimate how stupid people are who leave Steam reviews. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. There's one thing you can trust in this world. It's the stupidity of the Steam reviewers.
So, you kind of recognise that this was maybe a little bit of a vague review, but you know, not even co-op. What's that about? And it was interesting. Then you asked a question. You asked whether this was a first-person shooter. I'm not sure what kind of avenue you were going down there for co-op first-person shooter. Payday or something, was it? Oh no, that is co-op.
I don't know. No, well, no, because it doesn't have co-op. I don't know. I was just trying to. I was flailing. I was flailing, Callum, and you threw me a lifeline.
But I did. I threw you an extra lifeline because I was thinking this is a little vague. I kind of get the review because I know what the game is. So I gave you what I gave you, which was like, the controls are a bit unique and related to the co-opness. You said Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. I can tell you, Matthew, that the correct answer is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Thank you for being decent with the clue. I appreciate that.
That's no problem. Well, I was, as I say, yeah.
Because, the thing is, if I just guessed something else and it was totally wrong without that clue, I would have kicked off about that review. I'm just saying, salt averted.
Matthew, could I have my third and final Mystery Steam review, please?
Yeah. First game I played with multiple endings and choices that affect the story. Also, a good pandemic game. Story hits too close to home in 2020 to 2021. From that one and only, recommend it with 38.4 hours on record.
Okay, start time now. Right, so Chesney says it's the first game they played with multiple endings and choices that affect the story. A good pandemic, but then they say story hits too close to home, implying that... Like, there's a pandemic in this. Now, this makes me think of multiple endings and choices that affect the story. Multiple endings and choices that affect the story. So that makes me think of Dishonored from a couple of weeks ago. I think when we were doing silent protagonists, pandemic and that.
You got some clues?
I do have some actually, yeah. What am I doing? I'm going to pause the timer 50 seconds. Could I have the genre, please, Matthew?
Yeah.
So yeah, Dishonored has... I don't know if it has like loads of different endings, but I'm pretty sure it has at least 2 different endings. Pandemic game.
This is described as an action role-playing game.
An action role-playing game. Okay. I'm going to restart the timer. 50 seconds now. An action role-playing game. The Division? Multiple endings, though.
Doesn't sound like The Division, does it?
An action role-playing game. Dishonored could be an action role-playing game? What's the one that you liked? Divinity. Is there a pandemic in that?
That's more of a straight RPG, I'd say.
Very chatty. I'm going to pause the timer 13 seconds. I'm going to ask a question. My classic when I'm just trying to reach for stuff. Matthew, was this game released in the last 5 years?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, alright then. Restarting the timer now. It wasn't released in the last 5 years. Pandemic. Multiple endings. Pandemic. Deus Ex. Is Deus Ex about a pandemic? Deus Ex!
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
So, you were thinking for a good pandemic game. A game which has a pandemic in it that was made more than 5 years ago.
I know, I went from 5 to like 20.
It's quite a jump. You were thinking Dishonored, which was made in 2012.
Oh, shit.
The correct answer is Deus Ex.
Yes! Get in! Oh, you beauty. Oh, Matthew, you took me on an emotional roller coaster there.
That's the role of the host, isn't it? For their round. the alternating host.
Oh, for a second there, I was like, Dishonored was that long ago?
I wish it was Dishonored.
Oh,
but it's not. You win fair and square.